What's up guys, it's your favorite Kiwi coach, and give me 6 months of your time, I'll give you the best golf swing of your life. So welcome back to the channel. In this particular video, we have another client before and after video for you today. And this particular client was really struggling with the top of swing position. They're getting the lead arm really high. They're actually getting a lot of extension in the lead wrist. And then the club head height was also out of position, which ultimately all of this led to him swinging the hands too far out there on the downswing, and with the driver, he was really struggling with the push slice. So if this sounds like something that you do, well, this is the perfect video for you, and let's go ahead and jump in. But before we get into the video, I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, and that is Kiwi Golf Japan. If you're too busy or you just can't make it out to our locations for lessons, Kiwi Golf Japan is the membership site for you. With over 240 plus videos of golf instruction, we have everything on the site you could possibly want. So go ahead and check out that link down below, and now let's get into the video. So the main point of this particular video is we really want to get into the checkpoints of the top of swing lead arm position, as well as what are some of the issues earlier on than P4 that could cause you to get the lead arm completely out of position. And then also we do want to focus on the lead wrist angle, as well as club shaft position and club head height. And then from there we'll give you the typical exactly what happened in the before swing and after swing on the downswing. So let's go ahead and take a look at the before swing first, then the after swing, and then we're going to get into this video. So this will be the before swing right here. And this will be the after swing right here. So as you guys are probably already picking up, there's some massive differences with the lead arm position at the top of the swing, as well as the wrist angles and club shaft position and height. But also on the downswing, we had a little bit of a domino effect where we didn't really talk about the downswing a whole lot, but a lot of what we were trying to fix on the downswing actually started to kind of happen naturally, right? Which is the domino effect. So let's go tune in here to the top of swing position. Let's go take a look at the lead arm first. So oftentimes the lead arm position at the top of the swing is overlooked these days from you guys out there, and I don't blame you guys because there's a lot of information about a lot of other positions throughout the golf swing. But I would say the lead arm position is a very important position because it really establishes the plane tilt with the lead arm, as well as it really will influence what the club shaft will want to do on the downswing as well. Whenever you start to get the lead arm really vertical like this before swing, you're going to start to see that either you have to flatten the arm plane on the way down, or if you don't flatten it, you're probably going to get the hands moving way out towards the golf ball, which can significantly affect your low point and everything else we're trying to control. So to show you some parameters right now, let's go draw an angle. So we're going to draw that through the arm and then the grip in, and then draw this up towards the sky. He's right around 27 degrees with the before swing. Now, if you go take a look at the after swing and go draw that same angle, we're going to see a much flatter angle at this position at the top, right? So closer to 38 degrees, 11 degrees of shift. Now, the reason why this is so important is because the lead arm is now more on the shoulder in the after swing, what's going to happen is it can naturally now just fall and separate from the upper body, versus in the before swing, he now actually has to tilt that arm backwards, which then makes it really difficult to keep the shoulder plane tilt. Most people will want to tilt at the same time when they try to flatten the arm. And then from there, it's going to get them either incredibly underneath the plane, or if they don't tilt at all, like I said earlier, they're just going to be completely on top of the plane. So it's just a difficult place to start from, and it's going to make it really difficult to manage the transition. Now, another thing that you're going to see that changed at the top of swing was going to be the internal rotation of the trill elbow. So before he was right around 33 degrees. If we take a look at the after swing right now, he's right around 14 degrees, which is going to be that 15 degree or less. So this was definitely a domino effect. Once we changed the lead arm position at the top of the swing, we actually got the elbow in a much better spot, and that was really simply done because we changed that lead arm angle. I think you guys can naturally just see that the more vertical your lead arm is, probably the more internally rotated your elbow is going to be. So make sure to get that lead arm in a better spot. It should make it easier to get the trill elbow in a better spot as well. Now, speaking of wrist angles at the top of the swing, this was another thing that this client was really worried about. So if we go take a look at the before swing, we can definitely see that he had a little bit of extension in the trill wrist, or sorry, the lead wrist, excuse me, which then in turn caused him to have a pretty open face angle at the top of the swing. And then he pretty much maintained that through most of the downswing, which then in turn at the very end meant he had to really flip the club to square the face. Now with driver, he was not doing this very successfully, so that's why he was hitting a lot of push slices. But one of the things he really wanted to change was this lead wrist angle. He was having the most difficult time trying to change it by himself. Now in the after swing, as you can quite clearly see, now the lead wrist is pretty much just flat at the top of the swing, so there's not really any flexion or extension, but the feeling that we had to feel definitely was more of a flexion position at the top of the swing. But really naturally, once we started to get the lead arm in a better position, and we talked a little bit about club head control, right, club head height, club shaft position, we actually were able to get the lead wrist to kind of naturally change itself without too much focus on the flexion move. This is oftentimes what you guys might mess up. You guys try to go directly to the wrist and try to get that flexion feeling, but if you start to get the lead arm and the arm or the trail arm as well out of position, and then the club head starts to get out of position as well, it might make it difficult for you to do that. So oftentimes focusing on something else, more so like the club head height, club shaft position, and lead arm position, you might start to get a little bit of that domino effect. Which then brings us up into the last point of the top of swing. That's going to be the club head height and then the club head position. So the club head height is out of frame, but it's above the head, right around a head above the hands, which is exactly where we want it to be. And then the position of the club head in the after swing is going to be parallel to the forearm, which is going to be exactly where I want it to be as well. So in the after swing, you can't really see the club head because it's kind of hiding behind the hands, but if you kind of see it trace all the way to the top of the swing, the club head would be positioned somewhere right around here at this particular point. So obviously the club head height is too low, and then the position is not in line with the forearm, so it's exactly where we don't want it to be at the top of the swing. All right, so now as we take a look at the downswing, let's take a look at the after swing right here and take a look at where the hands are moving at this particular point. So this is the angle that the hands have created, right around 19 degrees. Now if you go do the same thing with the after swing, or sorry, the before swing, we're going to see a completely different angle than that. So let's watch the arms move out towards the ball. So as we can see, this angle right now is right around 21 degrees or something like that. As well, if you think about it, the starting point at the top of the swing was much closer to the golf ball as well. So even though it's only 2 degrees more out with the angle, because it started much closer to the ball, it's way far out when it comes to position 5 where the hands should be situated. And that's really important to understand. We talk about this a lot in lessons. Not only is it kind of the angle that the hands are moving in transition, but also the starting point as well is very important. And just by simply changing the starting point and then getting that angle slightly reduced, we were able to get the hands in the correct spot at position 5. Now, because the hands were in the correct spot at position 5, let's go take a look at the before swing now. As he starts to get closer to P5.5, the club shaft appears to be quite steep here. However, I think the actual position of the club shaft was not so bad. It was more so the position of the hands were out of place, because look what happens as we start to get the hands in a better spot here. Now the club shaft at that same position is exactly where we would want it to be, which is going a little bit more through the top of the forearm, right? That would be the checkpoint that we're looking for. And then from here, as we continue to go down into the impact before basically the hands are going quite far left, and then he's really trying to flatten massively as he approaches the golf ball. So the more and more you flatten the club shaft, the more the handle of the club is going to get higher, which opens the face. And then if you match that with the wrist conditions that he had at the top of the swing where he already had an open face, it's going to make it really difficult to square the face, especially when it comes to the longer clubs, which is exactly his issue. A lot of push slices with the longer clubs. Now as he comes down in the after swing, we're not seeing that anywhere near as much. He's actually starting to move the club head a little bit more out towards the golf ball. And then as he approaches the golf ball, because he's more so steepening the golf club slightly from here to here, as opposed to flattening it, we're seeing the handle of the club is a little bit lower. And actually, he was getting a lot of shots now that we're starting to overdraw slightly, which again, we're going to have to work a little bit in the next lesson on release so we can get control over the rotation of the toe. But it was a, happy sight for him to see instead of that push slice out to the right that he was hitting predominantly. All right, so now let's start getting into the fun part of the video. What were the actual feelings that we had to feel to fix what we were trying to fix? So let's go over to the before swing and take a look and break it down step by step. So really the main things that we were trying to fix were not the trill elbow, right? We were not trying to fix that rotation, and as well, we weren't really trying to necessarily change the wrist extension. We were more worried about the lead arm height, the club head height, and the club head position. So let's start with the lead arm height and go over the feelings that we were trying to feel. All right, that's it for you guys on YouTube, but before you guys click off the video, let me give some quick wrap-up points. So when it comes to the top of swing position, I think it's very important for you guys to focus in. I know a lot of YouTube videos are focusing on the downswing, ground reaction forces, impact, all those fancy material, and I think that's great stuff. But oftentimes, if you get really far out of position for you amateur golfers, you're not going to be athletically capable to get back into positions like the professional golfers, so you're not going to be able to get the impact positions that you see on YouTube. So in my opinion, the better approach is tidy up earlier in your backswing, which means take away position 3, top of swing, tidy that up, get it into a much simpler model like we talked about in this particular video, and really focus in on that lead arm height at the top of the swing. A lot of you guys out there getting over swings or getting the arms moving too far out in transition, you might be getting your arms too high at the top of the swing swing and already making it difficult for yourself. So go ahead and watch through the checkpoint of this video one more time, and then go ahead and try to make those changes. Other than that, make sure to check out the Kiwi Coach 6-month program in person and online. We'd love to help you out with lessons. When you guys are on the site, make sure to sign up for the membership site as well. It supports this YouTube channel. And yep, that's it for this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.